confirm if my screen is visible with the chat GPT open. Can I see some thumbs
Yes.
ups? Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let us try to, attempt it with the usual or the common approach that we do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a prompt and see what it comes with. So if we give just zero shot prompt as it is, the output it give might different. This is probably one of the ways that we are, following. So if I simply write this, the output that I'm getting may be different because it doesn't know the context or what I want or what I don't want, right? If we try to make it a little tighter with the different prompt, say I'm typing over here that I'm a project manager in an IT service company and I need to send a weekly status email for my, delivery head every morning, every Monday. The project is a CRM migration for a US based client, and this week we completed data mapping phase and found three blocking issues. And this is what I'm explaining. What I'm asking is to write an email in a professional but concise tone, use bullet points for update and keep it under 200 words. So these are more tighter or more specific instructions I am giving to the to ChatGPT. Of course, the output that I am getting now may be better than what it had given me earlier because I have given it more of a specific prompt. But now the next, what happens is this is something that most of you are using. But if this is the more of a frequent task, what we can do over here is instead of using or using new chat window every week, we can use or build a custom system for similar kind of task. So when I mean custom system, what I mean is we can, so depending on what different tools are using, the system can differ. So in ChatGPT, this system is called as Custom GPT. So you can go over here and simply click on GPTs, and over here you can create a custom GPT. Now the configuration over here is important. So why I'm the if you have seen the title of the webinar also, which is uh, you know prompt don't save you, our system do. So this is exactly system that we are trying to build today. Over here we are going to configure this custom GPT based on what our requirement is, especially in terms of the repetitive task. So first we'll have to give it a name, which is, let's say, weekly status writer, so that if we have multiple GPTs, we should be able to identify which GPT is for which purpose. Then we can give it a little bit of description about what it requires to be done. So which I'm giving it as a draft concise weekly status email for project managers reporting to the senior leadership, and paste your bullet points and get ready to send email. So this is something which this GPT describes or helps you with. And now this is the most important part where we are going to configure this part of the GPT. We have to give the strict information instructions over here about what we are going to give as an input and what is the output that we are going to get, right? So I'll explain you what we are going to. So first what we will do is we'll explain it the role that it needs to play. So what I'm mentioning over here is I hope everyone can see my screen, or is it too small for you? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, Ankit, we can.
Okay, perfect. I'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to uh, set the system instructions for this. So first I'm mentioning you are a weekly status email writer for a project manager in an Indian IT service company, and your user is so who the user is going to be, that is somewhere I'm going to mention. The user is a mid-level project manager who reports to delivery head. They manage software projects for international clients, primarily in US and Europe. they send a weekly status email every Sunday morning. So this is what the user that we have defined right now. Then what inputs user will give the system, that inputs should also be mentioned. So the what user will give you 3 to 7 bullet points summarizing what happened this week. These bullet points can be raw or unpolished notes, sometimes just fragments. And now what we have done is we have defined the users, and we have also ensured that what users will be giving as an input. Now, since we have defined all of these things, now what we have to define is what are the outputs or what format the output should be having. So over here, I'm mentioning that what it will produce a ready to send status email with the following structure. The subject line, which will have format with project name, weekly status, and week of the date. Then followed by that one line summary of the week, then update section, then next week section with 2 or 3 bullet points on what's planned, and followed by that the sign off. So this is something that we would want in the output. Now there can be few additional things that we can mention, like tone or style. So when we say tone or style, we can mention that the tone has to be professional, direct, without any filler, and there should be no "I hope this finds email finds you well," and no significant progress or key achievement or generic corporate phrases. Short sentences, if a bullet can be 8 words, don't make it 20 words. So we are ensuring that it adheres to the strict rule that we are mentioning while formatting. At the same time, what we will do is we'll also mention that there are certain things that it should not do. So many a times we may have seen that the sis- uh, when we ask question, or when we ask ChatGPT or Claude to do something, it tend to invents on its own and tries to put things which we have never thought of doing. So what this system should not do is do not invent updates the user did not mention, do not add information you don't have, and if the user notes are too vague to write a clear update, ask for specific rather than guessing. So this is how we are setting up the entire system instructions. Then what we will do is I'll close this. Then followed by that, there is something called as a conversation starter. So these are basically the shortcuts. Instead of a blank text box, you get a one click starting point. It is just a small thing, but it removes the friction of what do I type. So there are different conversation starters we can mention. So this can differ on your style, what you generally, how you start chatting with the LLM. Then the first one is can be depending on your size, style, you can configure this. So here are the few weeks, here are this week's update, and followed by that you can paste bullets, then or rewrite the blocked item section to sound more urgent, or make the other one can be make this report shorter. My manager prefers 100-word email. So depending on what you want to be there in the conversation or how you initiate the conversation, your phrases can be mentioned. And if you have some files over here, you can upload these files as a knowledge base, so it will stick to them. Then the model over here, I'm not choosing any model. I'll giving user to liberty to choose any model. Then followed by that, we can have some capabilities mentioned for the model. And once this is configured, what we will do is we'll simply click on create. So once you create, so there are multiple options with you can either keep it with just you, or if you are doing it at the organizational level, you can get the link, and this link can be shared with anyone in the organization to ensure in case there are certain protocols or certain SOPs that needs to be followed. So it can be shared accordingly with the organization. So what I'll do is I'll click on save, and we'll try giving some prompt to this system that we have just built. It is taking some time to save. Once it is ready, it should be Yeah, yeah. So the custom GPT is ready. We can, yeah, this is our custom GPT. So what it says is the weekly status writer. What it does, that it drafts the concise weekly email for project managers reporting to senior leadership. Paste your bullet points uh, to get a ready to send email. So this is the description that we have just mentioned. Followed by that, these are the ways through which you can. These are the conversation starter, right? So just a minute. Yeah. So these are the conversation starters which you can use. So now what I'll do is I'll give it some instruction and let us see what outputs it can come up with. So as mentioned with the bullet points, so what I'll do is here are this week's update, which says data mapping phase completed for the CRM migration project. Found three blocking issues with legacy date fields, vendor notified, and waiting for the response since Thursday. QA environment setup is 80% done. Rakesh is handling the remaining configuration. So basically, different bullet points is something that we are mentioning over here. And once we give it, let us see what it can come up with. So it's working in the background. So this is the email that it has come up with, depending on what we have just mentioned. So it says the data mapping completed, legacy data issues blocking the progress, the whatever is completed, whatever is in progress, then whatever is blocked at risk, and next wait. So followed by, I mean, whatever format we have mentioned, it is strictly sticking to the format. Even the bullet points are shorter, then it is not adding up anything which it has, which it has been asked for. And at the same time, it is also giving us the subject. So the reason it will help is if you are using this kind of this kind of status email sending every week, or maybe every day, depending on how it is used in the organization. If you have one ready system, what you need to do next time is just go open that particular custom GPT, and that's it. You just start typing, it will give you the answer in the way you want. So over here, instead of writing the same prompt every time, what you do and getting the frustration that it is giving different output every time, you are not able to trust the output. Instead, what you can do is you can build this system and reuse it. So over here, we can give one more update with minimal point. Let us see how it comes. What is the outputs that it come with? So over here, I'm mentioning the updates, which is sprint velocity dropped, lost 2 days to production and other things. And this is what it has come up with. So depending on how the system is configured and how we are giving it inputs, you will be able to get the outputs, right? So let me go back to the screen, the presentation screen again. I hope you guys are with me till here. We'll have some time for the question and answers at the end. Can I see some thumbs up or reactions in the chat box? Okay, I assume you all are with me. I'm not able to see any reactions. Okay. Thank you everyone for. I hope my screen is visible. Let's get back to it. So we have just tried to build a system without any code right now, right? But the first we try to give a prompt, and the second one we built a custom GPT. Now similar approach can be used in Claude or Gemini. The similar configuration can be done, but there can be some addition or something different over here, but mostly the structure remains the same. Now what I have just built is a custom GPT, right? It is not a chatbot, not an automation, not an agent. You can consider this as your assistant, which will do the specific work that you will ask it to do. Now, the same capability exists at different layers. For example, the first one is, of course, prompt, where it is just one instruction and one output. The second one can be the custom GPT that we have already built. Then other one can be the API with the help of API or with either from OpenAI or Claude or any LLM API. You can use same capabilities but more of into programmatic way, which can be integrated with your existing system. So this is somewhere a bit of technical or coding part comes, especially for developers. This is something which can be useful. And of course, if you want to build it on your private data with SSO and governance, so there is an another or advanced version of it which is called as enterprise rack. So these are the different versions of how it can be built. So what we have just built today is just a UI. It is the same thing, same thinking that can be scaled to, let's say, 5,000 person rollout. So that and it doesn't take much time. Just that how clear about you are about what you want to build, it will help you to build this entire system. Now, this is something that I have built from what I have, one example that I have prepared. What I want you to do is, I want you to type just one task in the chat box, something that you do every week or more, and anything that comes to your mind, but ensure that it is the repetitive one and probably the boring one that you don't like to answer. So whatever comes to your mind, you can put it in the chat box. I'll try to build one custom GPT along with you. I'll Okay, creating presentations, candidate screening notes. Okay, I need at least 26 replies. We have 26 people in the room. I hope you are with me. Candidate screening, screening resumes. Budget versus actual analysis. Awesome. So, what we will do is, since I can see the candidate screening notes or screening resumes is something that is coming up again and again. So, I'll try to build one GPT around it. So, let me share my screen again. With, yeah. Okay, perfect. So, we'll try to build another GPT now with over here. We'll click on Explore GPT, create one, and we'll configure it quickly. Okay. Thank you everyone for your response. We'll quickly move on. Now, what I will do is I will name it as interview debrief synthesizer, and I'll give it a description which is going to be uh, which can turn the messy interview notes from systems into from multiple rounds into structured candidate summary with evidence-backed recommendation, flag conflicts between interviewers, and open question for follow-up. And you can paste your raw notes over here. I'll be giving some instructions over here. Let me put it for you. So the instructions will be: you are an interview debrief synthesizer for talent acquisition team in an Indian technology company. Your job is to take raw messy notes from multiple interviewers and produce structured candidate summary. So this is something I'm defining role for the system. Then followed by that, what I'm doing is I'll be giving context to assume. So interview loops have 3 or 4 rounds. Then interviewers submit their notes in different styles. It can be paragraphs, bullet, pasted Slack message, or voice to text transcripts. Notes often mix evidence with interviewer opinions and fillers. And the CTC figure, which I am mentioning over here, what output structure should be, it's like with the name, candidate name, and the role it has applied for, the candidate has applied for, and followed by that there should be some recommendation based on strong hire, hire or no hire, and there should be some evidence based strength. So those who are into hiring or HR, they will be able to understand what this specific means. Then followed by that, if there are any conflicting signals, what we still don't know is two three questions that were not answered across the loop. Then followed by compensation and joining signals. There are some rules that we are mentioning, that do not invent the evidence, do not uh, smooth over the disagreements, keep the full summary under 350 words. So these are the different rules that I am mentioning for the system. Now we can, as we did earlier, we'll have some conversation starters over here. So the conversation starters can be like synthesize my interview loop notes, then help me spot disagreements between interviewers. I'll add one more. Let's say draft a question from debrief gap. So this is how I'm configuring it. I'll simply go ahead and click on create. So I'm clicking on creating. I think it is getting created. Just yeah, it is created. Now I'll simply give it a task. Just a second. Yeah. So this is the input that I am giving it. The input is like, so round one, which was taken by Priya, who is a senior engineer. She has given her input, like the coding went okay, solved first problem, communication was clear. Then round two is from Rajesh, who is a staff engineer of system design. He has given his inputs. Then followed by round three, which is Anjali, engineering manager, and round four, which is by HR, Meena. So let us see what it can come up with. So over here, the candidate name should have been provided, which I intentionally did not, and it has also mentioned about it. Then whatever format which we have asked it to, keep for this, so it has come up with, it has followed the same format. So the first one is recommendation, which says higher, it is suitable for ST2. Then evidence based strength, it has mentioned, which is solved to some variant quickly, then demonstrated real ownership. Then there are some evidence based concerns, needed hints for tree problem, weak depth in system design, not at all, not a senior bar. Interviewer explicitly assessed as below senior level expectation. Then conflicting signal, the system design interviewer leaned no higher for senior or broad line. Then followed by that, what we still don't know, it has mentioned, and compensation and joining signal. This is something it has mentioned. So based on whatever notes we have provided, it has come up with the output. So this is how, depending on your role, the systems can be designed. It in ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude, whatever you are using, right? Okay. Now moving on, there are few things that I want to cover. Then after that, we will open the floor for question and answer. Okay, so this is the time for final poll that we have. So do you think you will be able to build your own custom GPT for one of your tasks this week? You can just quickly answer depending on what we have just seen. Mm. I can see mixed answer. So 50% of you are confident, 40% need to think about it. So what you can do is you can simply assess your task based on the feasibility and frequency, whatever is scoring the highest, you can use it to build the custom system. Awesome. I am ending poll in 3, 2, 1. The poll is closed. Here are the results in front of you. So 50% of you are confident. So I think it was worth for all of you uh, to spend some time in this webinar. In which this is just one of the webinars that we had today, but there are going to be series of webinars as well as the YouTube videos that will be posting on the different topics and different concepts that we come across. So I'm just giving a link to join the WhatsApp community. This is the India specific community only. I hope. Yeah. So the link for WhatsApp community has been shared. So wherein you can stay updated with whatever new updates are coming in the world of AI.